Hi everybody, what's going on? So doing my video diary for today, I really appreciate the feedback I get from you guys. It makes me feel like what I'm doing is kind of like people enjoy it, so thank you. Today we're going to talk about credit and about how to clean up your credit. Um, People have asked me all the time, like, what should I do? And often I find myself telling the same thing over and over, so I figured I'd just put it on video. And that was by the advice of Sarinthia. So thank you, Sarinthia, for the advice. So the first thing that we're going to do is go over your credit report, what it is, how to look at it, and how to understand it. And the first thing I recommend that you do is order all 3 copies of your credit report from the major credit reporting agencies, which are Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Those are the 3 major credit reporting bureaus. Don't get caught up in companies like LexisNexis because that's not an actual credit reporting agency, not a major one. So the first thing you want to do is mail, physically postal mail a request from your credit report, for your credit report from all 3 agencies. You want to send a photocopy of your license, a photocopy of your driver's license. Please do not send them the original. You want to send proof of address. If your license has your current address on it, that is fine. And from there, and the reason that you're sending this information is so they can update it with the accurate information. They can verify who you are and update your information to reflect accurate information. So, and by providing the proof of address, that will show where you live at. And you may also want to include your birth date if they on your request, so that if it's incorrect, they will update it. Because when you send the information in, and if it's wrong on file, they will automatically update that. I know because I used to work for Equifax. So then you want to mail each request to each of the credit reporting agencies, and you'll get them back in the mail. And then when you get it, you want to go to each one individually. And I can tell you, for like Equifax primarily caters to the Southeast region, Experian to the Northeast region, and TransUnion to the Midwest and West Coast region. So sometimes you won't see all the same information on all 3 credit reporting agencies. It's at the creditor's discretion, which is basically the people who you owe money to. They can pay to have the information reported to one bureau, which is the one in their region, or 2, or all 3. So it comes down to what they're willing to do as to who they report to. So that's why every time the information may not be the same on all 3 credit reports. And it's important to get all 3. So what I have done is I've pulled up a copy of a sample Experian credit report, and we will go over that. And then after you're able to look at the credit report, we'll go into how to begin to repair your credit. So here we go. Can you guys see this? This is the credit report, and am I at the very top of the screen? Give me 1 second. Okay. Here we go. Sample credit report from Experian. It starts off with the personal identifying information. Here you see this is the name of the person. This is the report number, which you would use to reference if you have any kind of dispute about the credit report. So you would want to make sure you keep inventory of that number. This report date is the date that your report was sent to you, not the date that it was requested. And then as we're going to scroll down, you got to bear with me because I'm using a laptop and holding my phone by hand. The first thing that is on every credit report are your public record items. Now these are items that will definitely affect you from being able to get major loans and things like that. I want you to be able to see what it says. Credit grantors may carefully review the items listed below when they check your credit history. Please note that the account information connected with some public record items, such as bankruptcies, also may appear in your credit item listed later on in this report. which means some information may be on here twice. So this basically will tell you your public record items, like if you filed the bankruptcy, if you have a judgment, if a lien was placed against you. These are sample of public record items, and if you have had any of these, oftentimes credit grantors will not grant you credit on when you owe public record items, and there isn't even too much negotiation. Can you guys see this? There isn't too much negotiation as to how to resolve this. All you can really do is pay it. There's not like really settlements and things like that when it comes to public record items. Some of them anyway. Some things may be able to be negotiated, but 9 out of 10 times it won't happen. So if you're looking to buy a car or anything, you want to call the courthouse and find out what you need to do to get the item resolved, and try to work on that as best you can. For all of your other items, now that is a different story. That we can work to have removed. And there are a few things you can do to do that. So we're going to look at here. This is a creditor on the account. It's a bank. You see, this is their contact information. The status of the credit says past due 60 days, which means they've been more than 2 months late on it. And this is the account number. And then you come down here, date opened. That tells you the date that the person opened the account with the bank. Reported since, that means that the last time that this bank reported on this person was November 2005. Can you see that? The date of status means the last time this report has been updated in terms of status was for 2007. Which also is the same date as last reported, which means the last time they made a change to the report was for 2007. Over here it says what type, and it's an installment, which basically means that this debt was paid in monthly installments. And there are different types of accounts. There's installments, there's revolving, there are open-ended accounts. But this will tell you what type it is. And the term is 12 months, which means they had a year. They were paying installments on a yearly basis. I'm sorry, I'm losing my spot. And their monthly payment was 0, or they haven't paid anything, is more than likely what that means. The responsibility was an individual account, which basically means that it was not joint. If it was a joint, it would mean that this person had an account with someone else. So, and the credit limit, or the amount of the debt, it's hard to see through the camera, I'm sorry, it's $523. So this is how much they pretty much owe. That they're saying here at what point the highest balance would have been. It's not applicable because $523 must have been what the balance was. And recent balance is 0 as of 4/2007, and it has no recent payment on this account. You guys can see that. That is what that information means. I went down too far. Give me a second. Account history basically tells how often this person has been late. So one time they were 60 days late in December 2006, and then they were 30 days late in November. So this tells you that the person was late for 2 months in terms of paying this debt, and then they must have came and paid it off. Or either it was sold to a collection agency. We'll be able to tell that in a moment. Now here, we're into a collection agency. You see it says main collection agency. Again, it has the address, the status of the account, which means it's in collections. It says collection account, $95 past due as of April 2000. See that? Again, the account number, that is probably the account number with the collection agency, not with the original creditor. You would have to contact the collection agency to get that information. And once an account is with a collection agency, oftentimes the original creditor will no longer speak to you because they say you have to deal with the collection agency. So you make sure that you get down the right contact information, the right account number for the right person, and you talk to both the original
creditor and the collection agency, because sometimes the agency will take a payment or a deal, and when they do, that works to your benefit. Give me one moment. And then again, it's the same type, just like before, the date that it was opened, the type of account, when it was last reported, monthly payment, it's an individual account. The last payment was $95 in 2005, so the balance now is $0. You want to try and pay this, but oftentimes with a collection agency, there are a few things you can do. One, you can oftentimes, well, one thing a collection agency loves to do is they love to offer you a settlement. You don't want to do a settlement unless you have to, because a settlement still says to them that, oh, I didn't expect you to pay this bill, so I'm going to try to get whatever I can and get something rather than get nothing from you because I don't expect you to pay it otherwise. That has a negative reflection on your credit. What you want to do first is, if they offer you a settlement, tell them you would love to settle under one condition. They must provide you with a signed letter stating they will report the debt to the credit reporting agency as paid as agreed, not as a settlement. If they're willing to give you that in writing, because now they're obligated to put that paid as agreed, then by all means go ahead and settle. Oftentimes they'll give it to you for 40% to 60% of whatever the total balance was. I'm doing a video. Let me see how many minutes I've gone. Okay. So that's the first thing you want. I wanted to make sure I didn't turn the video off. So that's the first thing you want to do in terms of the settlement. Then, if not, then you can make a payment arrangement. You can ask them, will they accept $15, $25 a month, or what will they accept from you if you want to just go ahead and pay the debt off altogether. You just make an arrangement. But what I always suggest doing is, and everyone may not agree with this, but this is what I do.